Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes. Man, what a great victory yesterday for my Texas Longhorns as they won the 120th meeting of the Red River Rivalry over the Oklahoma Sooners, 34 to 3. What a great game. It was good to see Quinn Ewers back. He started off a little bit shaky in the first two possessions, but then he got his feet up under him and started playing some really, really good football. He went 20 for 29 for 199 yards, one touchdown, one interception, but he also had a rushing touchdown as well. Quinn Ewers had to settle in that game, but it was a really good game for him to come back and get some play as Texas plays a huge game next week in Austin against the Georgia Bulldogs. Like I said earlier, those first two possessions was kind of shaky. He missed, I think it was Matthew Golden on a an in route. He overthrew him and it got picked off by that dynamic safety that they have at Oklahoma. And we was like, whoa, man, he got to settle down. He got to get himself under control because that's such a high and emotional game whenever you play your number one rival in that Red River rivalry. That game is always full of excitement, highs and lows. So you got to be able to weather the storm. And he did that. But on the second possession, he did the same thing. He had Isaiah Bond wide open where all he had to do was put a little bit of air up under it, let him run up under it, and that would have been a touchdown. But he didn't do that. He tried to zip it into him, and it just didn't happen. But after that point, he settled in and he went on to go 20 of 29 in the game. And I thought he played really, really well. Um, his feet was a little shaky at times. He also missed Ryan Wingo in the end zone that should have been a touchdown when we went for it on fourth down. If he would have just set his feet and took his time, he could have dropped that ball into Ryan Wingo. And the score actually could have been a lot worse than the 34 to 3 thumping that we gave Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense, though, is really, really good. They have a really, really good defense. If Brent Venables' offense ever catches up with his defense, Oklahoma is going to be tough in the SEC. I'm saying that as a Texas fan, and I know that Oklahoma is our rival, but if they ever get their offense to catch up with their defense, they're gonna be hell on wheels, man. Which that's what you want. You want the blue bloods to be good in college football, especially now that we're at a 12-team playoff, which eventually is going to go to 16 teams. So you want the Oklahomas of the world to be good, and I hope that they get that offense together so that this rivalry will continue to be good. Actually, Steve Sarkisian should probably be 4-0 in this Red River rivalry. His first year, we jumped out to a huge lead, and Oklahoma came back and won that one. Then we beat them 49 to nothing. And then last year, Dylan Gabriel, he balled out, had a great game like he had last night against those Ohio State Buckeyes, and he led Oregon to that win. But he led them to the win over Texas in Sarkisian's third year, 34 to 30, which a game that Texas played kind of sloppy in. Quinn Ewers had two interceptions in that game last year and a fumble that really hurt Texas, even though Texas had a chance to win that game. And then this year, uh, getting his second win in the Red River rivalry, um, 34 to 3 over the Oklahoma Sooners, whose offense really was really bad. But their offense is bad because they have a whole new offensive line. Their offensive line has its woes, and then they lost their top five wide receivers to injury. So anytime you have that, and even though the quarterback completed the ball to 11 different wide receivers in this game, they just aren't the level of those guys who are hurt um, on their bench because they got some real talent at the wide receiver position. But those guys are injured right now and they didn't play in that game. But in terms of Texas offensively, like I said earlier about Quinn Ewers' stats, he played pretty good. He had one rushing touchdown and one passing touchdown to Gunnar Helm. Trey Wisner really balled out this game. And if you're a Texas fan, we have to look at it this way. We can expect Jadon Blue to be running back number one, but it's really whoever has the hot hand is going to be the guy for Texas between Jadon Blue and Trey Wisner. Whoever has the hot hand that day, that's the guy we're going to have to ride. And this day, it was Trey Wisner. In fact, last game that we played against Mississippi State, he played really well in that game as well. So I think Trey Wisner is really solidifying himself as the back that we can rely on in these games because he played really well. He had 13 carries for 118 yards, and he also had a touchdown, which is really, really good for a sophomore running back, especially once we lost Cedric Baxter and we lost other running back, freshman running back. His name, Christian. Uh, his name is slipping my mind, but I know his last name I think is Christian. Well, yeah, whatever. Anyway, but for him to be able to step in and fill those shoes and be able to help us, because there was a time in the game where I was like, man, Quinn Ewers isn't getting his feet under him. He's a little bit erratic, but we decided, listen, let's go ahead and settle this thing down. Let's run the football, and we ran it really, really well. He broke off a nice run that he ended up fumbling it, and luckily, Silas Bowden made a great play, a hustle play. Listen, football players out there, if you're young and you're a football player and you're playing the game of football, any sport really, hustle always gets rewarded. If you're a player and you hustle, hustle always gets rewarded. Remember that. If you go out there and you hustle, you're going to get rewarded for hustling. Trust me. And that's what happened with Silas Bowden. He was blocking in the backfield to spring Trey Wisner on that run. But he continues to run with Trey Wisner in case he has to get another block, which he didn't have to do, but still his hustle. When Trey Wisner fumbled, he was able to be in position because he was hustling to recover that fumble in the end zone. So that's a prime point of why hustle is so important. And I'm glad that Silas Bowden was in position to do that for the Texas Longhorns. And he also had a really good punt return as well in that game. So kudos to you, Silas Bowden, for being a hustler and just being an all-around good player who played really well yesterday. Our leading receiver was Gunnar Helm, the tight end. He had 5 receptions for 91 yards for 18.2 yards of reception. And he had also had a touchdown. Listen, whenever you got a tight end that you can outlet to, that can save you on third downs or on second and nines, this guy is, man, he's priceless for us. He has really played really, really well. And in my opinion, I think he's playing a lot better. Not a lot better, but he's playing better than uh, DJ Sanders last year. I mean, JT Sanders, I'm sorry. JT Sanders last year. I don't know why. I think on every video I was calling him DJ Sanders. But JT Sanders, I think he's playing better because, for one, he's a solid inline blocker, and then he's a good receiver. I wish he quit jumping, though, because one of those jumps, he's going to get hurt. So stop jumping, Gunnar Ham. Go ahead and lower your shoulder if you have to, or just go ahead and, you know, get tackled or whatever. But stop that jumping, man. I don't want you to get hurt. And also in that game offensively, Texas, Steve Sarkisian really understood what was happening in that game offensively for Texas, and he was able to settle Quinn down because Quinn was a little erratic, as you all, if any of you watched the game. In the beginning of the game, he was very erratic, and Sarkisian understood that, and he got him some easy throws that he could make, some quick throws to sort of settle him down, get him in rhythm. And then after that, you seen Quinn really, really play really well in the game. Even though he did miss those three passes that I thought were passes that he could make easily earlier in the season. But I mean, the man was off for a whole month. So, of course, he has to get his timing back down. And I'm glad that he was able to play in this game. This was the perfect game for him to come back in because, for one, this game was an emotional game where there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot on the line because it's a rivalry game. And if you can bring your quarterback back in this game against an Oklahoma team really that was really no match for Texas because offensively they just weren't any good. They were playing a freshman quarterback, and like I said earlier, they had five receivers who were injured, and they really didn't play that well with that freshman quarterback. But I thought it was a perfect game for Quinn Ewers to come back and get his feet wet so that he can get ready for the Georgia Bulldogs. And Oklahoma's defense really gave him a lot of different looks. And I've said in earlier videos, the three high safety look is probably going to be a look that every team in the ACC, ACC, SEC will use against Texas because it's one of the defenses that really gives Steve Sarkisian issues. And it doesn't matter who his quarterback is. It gives him a little bit of issues because, you got that three high safety and you just really don't know what those guys are going to do until they commit. But that's after the play has started. So you really don't know if a guy's coming down and supporting the run or if they're going to stay back. So whatever play call you're calling, you got to be careful of what that play call is and what the open reads are going to be in those plays. But the good thing about it is Steve Sarkisian also understands that okay, you're gonna go three high safety, you're gonna have three safeties back there. That means you're not putting as many people in the box. So let me run this football. And that's what Texas did with Trey Wisener and Jalen Blue. They were able to, make some decent runs. Well, Trey Wisener had some really good runs. He broke a long touchdown run as well. And he had a good long run, the one that he fumbled. But that could have been two touchdowns for that young man on long runs. But anyway, I think Steve Sarkisian understands that the key to beating the three high safety is the running game, and then you force a team to have to go ahead and commit one of those safeties to the box. So then you can start throwing it over their head. Also in that game, Texas defensively really played lights out. Now, I understand that we're going against a true freshman quarterback who hasn't had a lot of playing time, but they did to Oklahoma defensively what they were supposed to do to Oklahoma's offense. They only gave up 237 yards, a total offense, 147 passing, 89 rushing. Um, Oklahoma had 69 total plays. They actually had more total plays than Texas. Texas only had 61 total plays. Texas was 5 for 13 on third downs, and Oklahoma was 4 for 15 on third downs. Texas defensively really put a lot of pressure on this young quarterback. They got 5 sacks in that game. Anthony Hill had 2 sacks. And I'm telling you right now, when you look at Texas linebackers, them guys, man, they can ball. I mean, all the way from your starters all the way to your third string guys. Those guys play really, really good football. Anthony Hill played lights out in that game. David Bender played lights out in that game. Uh, Leona LaFau played really good in that game. Uh, Maurice Blackwell played really good in that game. And Ty Anthony Smith, he came in the game and was, man, listen, that kid can lay some wood. He came and played really good as well. I really hope that defensively that Derek Williams is okay. He went out of the game with a looked like he had a leg injury, a lower leg injury. So I'm hoping that he's okay because we really need him down the stretch this season. We need our safety room to stay on top of things because we have really good safeties as well. Andrew Makuba, Tab Daddy, as my man Rod Babers calls him, and Jelani McDonald has really come on too. He can lay some wood too. So we really need Derek Williams so that we can be able to go too deep at that safety position. And then at the cornerback position, it seems like nobody wants to throw the ball at Malik Muhammad. I mean, he covers so well. He's such a technician at that cornerback position, and along with Jade Barron, those guys at the corner position are tough, man. And then you got Gavin Holmes filling in for them, along with my man J Cole from the transfer portal. I think he came from, I'm not sure, San Jose State. I think that's where he came from. Those guys are really playing really good football. And then at the edge, you got Colin Simmons wreaking havoc. You got Ethan Burke wreaking havoc. Baron Sorrell wreaking havoc. Um, Colton Bosick wreaking havoc. I mean, our defensive ends, man, them guys coming off the edge. Oh, also Justice Finkley. I mean, I can't forget Justice Finkley, man. Him against the run. He's a solid defensive end against the run. And then he always pushed that tackle back into the quarterback's lap whenever it's a passing down. He might not get a lot of sacks, but he keeps that pocket closed in, which is what you want your defensive end to do if he's not a pass rush specialist. So I'm very excited about what those guys were able to do in the game, along with our defensive tackles. I really believe that um, Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins, man, they played lights out at that defensive tackle position, along with Lole, uh, Norton, those guys. And I seen a young man out there too, January. He was out there playing really good. Number 97. I was impressed with how he played. I don't know what's going on with Sadir Mitchell though. I think Sadir Mitchell's probably going to hit the transfer portal. He's probably going to leave Texas, and he's a huge human being. He needs to get his weight under control, get his work ethic together, because some teams could really use his size at that defensive tackle position. But that young man, you gotta put that work in. You gotta put that work in. Gotta get your head right, cause you can make millions of dollars, bro, millions of dollars. But you gotta get your mind right. Defensively, I gave out Oklahoma stats and what Texas defense did to them. Offensively, Texas had 406 yards total offense. I definitely think they should have got to 500 for sure. They had 229 passing. They tried two double passes. I was like, the second one, I was like, man, we don't need that. But it went for a big 30-yard gain to Gunnar Helm. I'll take that. Put us inside the 5-yard line. We had 229 yards passing, 177 yards rushing. Um, we ran 61 total plays, and we were 5 for 13 on third downs. I really think once Texas understood that they weren't in any danger of Oklahoma scoring very many points, that they could pretty much do whatever they wanted to do offensively on Oklahoma. I think Texas won the special teams game. I think we had 5 punts for an average of 57 yards a punt. You can't beat that. I don't like his punting 5 times though, and I think kickoff return, punt return, we did better than Oklahoma, and then on kickoff defense and on punt defense, we did better than Oklahoma. Um, it was. I mean, anytime you win a rivalry game and you can win 34-3, there's a lot of excitement in that game. It wasn't very stressful like normal Red River rivalry games are. Um, Once we got up 21-3, I was pretty much relaxed. Chatting all day on our group thread, our sports thread with all the homies. So it was good to be relaxed and to know that Texas was going to get this victory very easily. And like I said earlier, Texas completed passes to 9 different wide receivers. You always want to be able to do those things, be able to get it to as many guys as possible. They have a lot of talent offensively. I hope that Isaiah Bond is okay and he's going to be able to go next week against Georgia because he went out. I wasn't sure what happened with him. It was a pass thrown to him, and the defenders sort of slung him to the ground, and he went into the tent. He didn't play anymore that game. He went got his street clothes on. So I hope that he's okay. And like I said earlier, I hope that Derek Williams is okay as well. I thought Texas played really, really good in this game. They settled in after the first 2 drives and were able to put some points on the board. They left some meat on the bone too. Um, the kicker, man, come on, Bert Arbor, come on, man. You got to make these kicks. I understand that Texas is doing so good in the red zone that you're not scoring touchdowns. You're not getting the opportunity to kick field goals like you were last year when you went 19 for 19. But whenever you're called upon, young man, you have to make these kicks. If these kicks are 50 yards or less, you got to be automatic, man. You're leaving money on the table when you don't make 41-yard kicks, 44-yard kicks. You got to make those kicks, bro. You got to make them. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to get your degree. You're going to be able to work somewhere and make a lot of money. But if you want to make it to the next level, you got to make those kicks. You can't miss from 50 yards and in and think that an NFL team is going to pick you up. They won't because they need you to be automatic. Because points in the NFL, they don't come all the time. And when you got opportunity to make a field goal, you got to do that. I thought there was a time when Texas had the ball fourth down that they should have went ahead and got the points and made it 24-3, but they went forward and didn't get it. Then the other time when they went forward and they missed the pass to Ryan Wingo, I thought that they should have probably kicked the field goal there too. The game was in hand, so I guess it wasn't no big deal. They knew that Oklahoma wasn't going to be able to get back into that game. But I wanted to come on and just share my thoughts on that Texas and Oklahoma game. Really excited about the fact that we were able to win that game 34-3. The players really played really well. I'm very excited about our defense. That's one of the things that we've been missing over the last couple of years, at least the first 2 years of Sarkisian's time here in Texas. Our defense wasn't very, very good. And but last year they improved every year. Last year they were pretty good. And this year they are really, really good. They're only giving up an average of 7 points a game. That's really good. They just held another opponent to less than 7. So that's really, really good. They've only given up, I think, 3 touchdowns this season. I think Michigan scored a touchdown on them. UTSA scored a touchdown on them. Mississippi State scored a touchdown on them. I think those are the only 3 teams that scored a touchdown on them. Now, next week, they got a tougher contest against Georgia, which is probably going to be the toughest contest that Texas has. But I believe Texas can beat Georgia. Georgia has some issues out there, and their strength is their offense and their quarterback, Carson Beck, who I believe is back into the Heisman Trophy race right now. But Ashton Genty, he dropped another one last night, 31 carries for 217 yards and 1 touchdown. And he's my Heisman front runner right now. I don't know if Travis Hunter came back into the game last night because he was injured. But we're going to talk about that at 10 o'clock this morning on our live show. Check us out, WTP Sports Dudes, and also Level Up Sports 10. And then we'll have our other channel up and running, City League TV, pretty soon once the high school basketball season starts. So check us out on any of those 3 platforms. Like I said earlier, WTP Sports Dudes and Level Up Sports 10 and City League TV. Please remember to Subscribe. Please share our videos, hit the like button. Do all those things to help us grow our channel. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button to like the video so that we can grow our channel. Right now, we're on a campaign to get to 300 subscribers. We're at 234 subscribers right now. That's only 66 subscribers short of our goal of 300 right now. So hopefully we can get to 300 by the end of November. So help us out, and hope that we reach our goal. But with nothing, excuse me, with nothing else to be said, hook 'em.